Some weeks ago, I made a post on LinkedIn talking about the challenge of Beehive in recent times. And after making that post, I assumed that maybe it would be resolved, but unfortunately, it wasn't resolved. And luckily, I am on the verge of kind of doing maybe a tutorial on how to move from Beehive to a platform like WordPress. But before then, I want to show you the problem and so you understand, and then why this particular friend of mine is even deciding to move to a different platform, not to maybe Kit or Substack, but a WordPress platform. First off, the challenge came. He started a new newsletter, and on starting the new newsletter, at the point he was getting some good open rate, 44% with good click rate. But all of a sudden, it dropped. And if you go through, it dropped from around sometime February. And he wasn't the only one. I have other individuals, or I know other individuals who actually use Beehive. And particularly, this wasn't something unique. A friend of mine I also noticed had this issue as well. And I'm like, okay, what could be the problem? All of a sudden, Beehive could not read open rate or click through rate. None of them. As you can see, until at a point it's picked up again, but of course it's not correct. How is this possible from 40% on average or 50% on average down to 5%, down to 1%, down to 3%, to 1.5, here to 0%? So that means there's something fundamentally wrong. But of course, Beehive, even after the post, Beehive would not even look at it. And this is what I was saying on their support. You see help. When you tap on help, what do they give you? A knowledge base, start reading. AI assistant, open chat. Do you need hands-on support? You have to upgrade to a skill plan, which doesn't actually make any sense. So first off, Beehive is a good platform, but at the same time, these kind of issues make people to rethink of other solutions. So now for my friend who is running a newsletter, the default is to go to another platform like Kit or MailerLite. There are several, but because of the goal he has to have a more controlled platform, one, and also to better optimize for search engine, and then as well to have control of data and get more in-depth data when he starts running campaigns to give visibility to his newsletter. And when I look through, WordPress is the only platform that can give that freedom in total without holding back. But the question is there any newsletter platform that is as good as Beehive or Kit? Definitely there is. And this is the reason I am using MailPoet. MailPoet has actually been existing for a while as an email marketing plugin for WordPress. You have several. Before now, before MailPoet, you have Newsletter, that's a WordPress plugin. And then you have other CRM solutions like Fluent CRM for email marketing. But MailPoet is something that it wasn't just built for email marketing, WooCommerce, but built for newsletter. How I've been able to use this to help teams manage even up to 100,000 subscribers. So it's that good. The main thing about using these solutions is having a reliable SMTP provider like Elastic Email or even Amazon SES. Those are the ones that you need. There are many other. And mind you, there are new email marketing plugins coming in the market. I haven't had time to really test, but there is one called MailerPress. I'm really excited about that. I'm still here to test it. There is another called Verfice, like virtual office, I guess, but Verfice, Virfice, Verfice. So these are solutions, but I don't want to brainstorm too much. We already have license for MailPoet, and so it's easy to just get started using MailPoet instead. And it's simple what I want to do. The first thing that will always be a concern is existing posts. Can we actually move existing posts to a place like WordPress? Definitely. And that process it's not so difficult if you're technical. you have to go through the settings in Beehive, and under Beehive, you go to export data. You can actually export all subscribers. That means export every subscriber. You can actually do that. And then you can export all posts. So once you tap on it, it gives you a situation report of pending. That's what happens. It's as simple as that. So how do we import an existing post to a place like WordPress, from Beehive to WordPress? It's simple. Let's go through. First thing first, just ensure that everything about your WordPress platform is set. Just that first. Getting started is simple. First off, you have to, like I said, have your WordPress installed, everything configured. Right now, I have configured everything, as the website is now dataunderglass.com, but it's a new, fresh installation. So the first thing is to install a plugin called WP All Import Pro. So you have to have a professional license to use this import system. This is WP All Import. Enables you to be able to import any kind of post type in WordPress, whether it's WooCommerce or WordPress itself as post. Now, this is installed. It's simple what we shall do. So first off, I'm going to refresh. Now you have all import. All import, you have to go to settings. And then in settings, you have function editor. You This is where you are going to add a particular function that enables you to be able to import. So I'll give credit to whom credit is due. So in order to get this particular function, we have to use a blog article from Newsletter Glue. Newsletter Glue is actually a WordPress plugin that helps you to be able to post newsletter as blog post directly without any manual posting. Because currently what happens is that if you are going to use a tool like MailPoet, you post on MailPoet and then you manually post again on your WordPress. It's it. But a tool like Newsletter Glue ensures that once you use a platform, let's say, depending on the platform they support, what happens is that automatically that works as a WordPress post. And I've not really gone through it, but with Newsletter Glue, you are able to actually connect with many email marketing providers. I think we have a lot of them, but Newsletter Glue itself, it's actually one. So I have not really gone through what they are all about, but you can find time to go through them and then see what they are like. But now, to export your email list, it's simple. I have done the exportation. Now to import it back into WordPress. So they gave a function. This is a function. This is what it is. So mind you, this may not copy the images, but you can always add the images manually. I don't think there is a big deal there. But this is a function. I'm going to save the function. Now, function has been saved successfully. After that, this is a code that needs to be copied. You just need to copy it. So let me do the copying. Now, what I need to do, since it has been saved, I'm going to tap on new import. On new import, I'm going to upload a file and I'm going to choose posts. So it's currently uploading. So we'll give it some time. Just wait a little. Now it has uploaded. So yes, it's a post. So I'm going to go to setup import. Now here, remember what was given? I'm going to put that here. Is there any other thing I'm missing? Let us check. Now, in the mapping area, this is what is put. And then what else? That's it. So I have put this here. And so what should I do? Continue to import settings. And then I continue. Okay, let me confirm and run import. Let's see. This is 100%. 27 new records. So let's check. You see what happened? Let me show you. This is a post, no title. I followed the instruction as it is. So, but I missed something. If you go through this, what ought to have happened is that a title should have been added. So I will show you what you should do so that you don't make the same mistake again like I did right now. So what I'm just going to do, I'm going to select everything here and then I'm going to move to trash and apply to trash. That's it. I'm going to trash everything. So we are going to go back to all import, new import, upload the file, pick the post, upload then. Just wait for it to upload. All right, this has uploaded. Yes, it's a post. Now, I'm going to post back this here. And then for this, what will be used? Web title. I'm going to use web title here. You understand? That's what I'm going to use, web title. That's what was missing. Is there any other thing? Let's look through. So you see that I made a mistake. So I am learning to make correction. Now, thumbnail URL, images. So what image should it be? So the question is, what shall we do? Because we need, I think, yeah, title, content, and then we need images. So this is what, I have never done this. I'm surprised that this has to be here. Okay. I'm going to drag this here and drop. Okay. I've done this. I need to check. There's already a function editor. Post option, published, yeah. Post slug. Now, this is actually very good because the slug is important. So what should be the post slug? I wish you could just pick directly as it was before now. So let's try post slug, which should be this. And okay. Right on this, this is the first time I'm looking deeply into this more than before. What else? Let me be sure. Created, published, dates, published date. Let's pick created at. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's see what comes out of it, and let's go to continue import. Let's tap on continue. I hope we do not get into any error. Okay. So this is taking longer than usual. I believe it's because of the The thumbnail. Yeah, the thumbnail. Because it's finding its way to be able to download the thumbnail. But while it does that, let me confirm something here. Okay. I'm just going to refresh and then see. Okay. You already have the post here as well. I did this earlier and I want to let you know of something. The domain was connected directly to Beehiiv, the dataunderglass.com. But as you can see, I have removed. Now it's dataunderglass.beehiiv.com. And when I exported the data, I exported it before removing the domain. But now I have a new export after removing the domain, which I did on this session. And it feels like there may be a bit of difference, but the difference technically it's only when you have something to do with, maybe you are importing and then it has to be specifically tied to the URL, because remember the URL is going to change from dataunderglass.com to dataunderglass.beehive.com. But I don't think it affects this because the image file, I thought the image file was directly on Beehive, but no, it's actually hosted on AWS. So it's independent of a domain. So I hope you actually got what I'm trying to explain here. If it was directly on the domain, then we would have had a problem. Yeah. But let's see. I have imported. Let me go to post. Now you can see. You see the published date? It's nice. It picked the published date, which is needed. So thank you, Newsletter Glue, for giving insight, and we are able to further add more analysis to it to get what we wanted. This was the first export, and now this is the second export. As you can see, this is nice, right? Very, very nice. Yes, there is room for improvement, but this is how the article technically is right now. And yeah, we are good. Let's take a look at editing this post. You see the thumbnail post. It's actually a thumbnail post. So, well, from this video, I have seen that it's very well possible to just extract everything clean and import with WordPress, as simple as that. That's really, really nice. And yeah, we are done with this. The next thing now is to install the mail poet and make configuration. And so that's what we are going to do next. All right. So what next? Installing mail poet. So first off, I have already put in the plugin here, mail poet. So we do actually have the mail poet and then the mail poet premium. I'm going to install, but if you're getting started, MailPoet free, the free version, it's actually very okay. So there is no need of thinking of, because it supports up to 2,500 free email subscribers, which is totally fine. So I have installed that. I need to install also, rather activated. I need to activate the paid for us here. And this has been activated. The next thing is to go to settings, straight to settings. And we'll begin setup, but that's it. We're going to begin setup. So what is the from name? Of course, data on the glass. And then hello at data on the glass. Continue. Oh, .com. No. Sorry for that, mail poet. The next thing is to import existing subscribers. So how do we do that? We first off go through by creating a list. and then add a new list. Let's call it newsletter or call it dog. My friend calls it dog. My friend calls it dog weekly. So that's actually okay. And so I would save and then subscribers. I'm going to import. I'll proceed, upload a file, choose file. So it's going to be subscribers, open, next step. These are the subscribers. And then dog weekly, that's it. Subscribed, don't update. Yes. Import. 67 subscribers added to dog weekly. So we have the subscribers already added. And we have the subscribers already added. So the next step now is to make the settings to ensure that mails are being sent. And we already have these. So this is where we have to do some setup. New subscriber notification. Yes, we can put this at hello at dataontheglass.com. Yeah, so that they get their notification when they receive a new subscriber. So I can save settings. Then sign up confirmation. Send with, this is important. What are we using? MailPoet service or others? Others. They say not. They say your host is not recommended, which is better. So you use a third party. So on this, we are going to use an SMTP provider, and we're going to send every minute 25 emails every minute for a small newsletter. It's actually okay, but we're going to do 50 every minute, which is okay. Now the SMTP is smtp.elasticemail.com, SMTP port 587, login. I already have the login itself, but I have not connected. So why this is simple is because we are currently using Cloudways. Cloudways actually supports Elastic Email. So we need to verify the domain. We need to verify the domain, the SPF, DKIM, tracking, MX, and DMARC. So what I'm going to do is, it's simple. We currently have a simple tool that help us to do that, dnspal.ori.com. So what I'm going to put here is dataunderglass.com. Now what DNSPal does is, it's based on an existing template. Because if you go to the, so you can do it manually. I used to do it manually a lot, but just did a simple tool to help that process. If you go through manually, you see everything you need to do, all the records that you need to add, SPF record, DKIM record, tracking, and all that. So with DNS it's like a bit automated. So it automatically detects the SPF record. SPF record is a record that you only put once, you don't put twice. So because this ensures that your email is always delivered, whichever service you are using. So I'm going to use a template and elastic email. So what I'm required of here is to put in the DKIM public key, which is by default always the same. If you go through the DKIM public key, I'll find that. So this is the DKIM public key. This is it. DKIM. Now put the key, tracking. Well, I want to reject the DMARC policy. Then here it should be hello at dataontheglass.com. And then, yeah, what I'm going to do is add record. Now, these are the record for data on the glass. So what do? Download the TXT file. Now, there is a warning. we have to delete this existing SPF record because if you see here, it already included it. It merged it. So this is dnspower.ori.com. So what I'm going to do is simple. Go to data on the glass, go to import, select a file which has been downloaded, the txt file, open, and then upload. That's what will be done. It has been uploaded. So since it has been uploaded, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the SPF record. There are two. This is the second, and then I'm going to delete. I'm going to delete this. Now, how I have put this, so the next thing that is expected is to actually verify data. So the next thing is to verify. Let's verify domain and see if there is any record missing. Everything is verified. So once it is verified, usually Cloudways gives you an API key, which is the API key that we already just have here. We have it here. So this is not the full API key because you want to copy and use. It's not complete. So yeah. So that's it. And then secure connection should be SSL. I keep getting this confused. TLS, SSL. I think it's SSL. Now we are going to do a test. Maybe send it to something. Let's even say use our Gmail, and I'll send a test mail. The email could not be sent. There is an SMTP host issue. I'm wondering what the host issue could be. Let's do another test. Sent. It's TLS. That's just a confusion. Then I activate. So this is activated. Close this. So what this means is that the email platform is actually ready. That's what it is. It's as simple as that. It took some time, but I hope you actually got some learnings here. I hope you did. So thank you. Thank you very much for staying even to this point, and I hope you've learned something from this short training session. I hope you did. Always remember, when you do a test, you can do a test and then ensure that the email is actually sent. Don't assume. So what you do is, once it says it has worked, you have to go to your email provider, if it's Gmail, and then just double check that, okay, I actually did, like, to show that, yes, I received it or you received it. It's very, very important because this is the crux or the most important aspect of a newsletter, emails being properly sent. So that's it for now, and thank you. I'd like to quickly show you, which I actually did forget, is on the aspect of Fluent SMTP, or rather a WordPress SMTP plugin. So Fluent SMTP happens to be one of the favorite. If you are able to just configure this with Elastic Email, so first off, Elastic Email is not the only solution, and it's not just only on Cloudways. You could go to elasticemail.com, sign up, create an account, and get SMTP details. Or you can even try another solution as emailite.com, email then it.com. This is another solution as well. They provide you with the same SMTP details, and then they provide you with API key. So it's similar to using Elastic Email. I'm using Elastic Email because we are able to use that because our agency currently has subscription. We are currently hosting websites rather on Cloudways. So that actually works for us. So, but whichever SMTP, once you've done for MailPoet, go ahead and do an SMTP for your WordPress site. The reason is some things may happen that you, you may want to send something, and then rather than depending on MailPoet, It will have to depend on your WordPress. Or there are even situations where you want to send or where you get notification from your blog article. How do you get that notification? Is with a solution like Fluent SMTP. There are several other SMTP plugins. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use Elastic Email. I'm going to pull sender. Sender email should be hello at dataontheglass.com, and then from email, from name rather, data on the glass, and then this is where you put in the API key, which we did copy. Oh no, this is where we put in the API key, which we did copy. I have put that. And the next thing is transactional or marketing. It's actually marketing. I'll save connection. Once connection is saved, I'm going to do email test. So from this, and I'm going to use, let's say, the WP flat at gmail.com. I'm going to send test. It worked, email delivered. So that's it. So you have been able to ensure that your WordPress sends and receives emails. So I hope this actually helps. Thank you for staying till this.